Thank you. Can I start now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So firstly, welcome everybody. Good morning. This is a wonderful day today where we've gotten some great opportunities lined up here by school reformers. So my heartfelt gratitude to them definitely for giving me this opportunity today. I'm highly honored and humbled to be presenting something which is very close to my heart and something I completely believe in. So, before I deep dive into what I want to talk about today, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Tina Mittal, and I've been an educator for nearly 2 decades. Teaching is something very close to me. It's my passion, and it is something that has got me so far. Academically, I have my BTech in biotechnology. So I have a bachelor's degree in biotechnology. I have done my master's in something known as intellectual property rights. And I am a lifelong learner, which means that I have transitioned from numerous curricula, namely the CBSE, ICSE, then the Cambridge IGCSE, and now the IB board. So I teach exclusively the international program at my school, which is the Sri Ram Millennium School, Noida, and I've been there for nearly 10 years as well. So I think I would want to sort of go ahead with what I am going to talk about today, which is the International Baccalaureate program, which is the organization that I think is a leader in terms of how children should be taught, how they should learn, and upskilling them and sort of equipping them with the right skills for the future. So I thoroughly believe that the programs offered by the International Baccalaureate Organization, the IBO, are very progressive. So they offer the PYP, which is a primary years program. I would just go on to this slide to give you a little bit of introduction about them. So they offer the primary years program, which is from years 2 up till 8 and 9. Then the middle years program, which is a middle school, which is nearly grades 6 to 10. The diploma program and the career related program come in only in senior secondary, which is grades 11 and 12. And their reach is absolutely brilliant. And they have and that speaks for why this is a coveted program, going back to why I started talk on this. I thoroughly believe in stop dreaming and start doing, because that is exactly how you're going to be reaching places that you want to. So I feel that it is an advantage that the IB gives us, because we understand and we dream about things, and it gives us a platform to do things. They have a wide presence in a number of countries and a number of schools. They have a rigorous program of onboarding schools. So they have, standards and practices that one needs to follow. It is not an easy task to come into and teach the IB board. So I have been a part of their authorization process. I have been there through the process of transaction of the curriculum and also now the evaluation. So the IB has a very strict way of monitoring that things are done right. Why this program resonates with mostly all of us is because it doesn't go the traditional route of teacher-led classrooms. It's never a teacher-led classroom. It's a student-led discussion. It's a holistic development with an inquiry-based approach. The students are encouraged to question. They are encouraged to think. They are, the learner profiles that I will reach out to in the next few slides actually hold true for our children in the truest sense, because they equip the child with the skills of the future. They equip the child with what the student, the learner, with what other things that they would want to do in their life today. It is a globally recognized program. To the extent that universities, best universities of the world, top universities of the world, when they check your portfolio and they see you're from the IB program, they automatically put you onto a higher benchmark. It's because the IB is known for its academic rigor and breadth. It's known for its deep dive into concepts, it and the fact that it is a standardized board. So if I am transacting the curriculum in India, so is my counterpart in Brazil or in Kenya or in any of the Scandinavian nations as well. So it has a certain standard which it maintains. And that is one of the reasons why it is much sought after. Admission officers place it in very high regard, like I said. So a lot of children who apply for universities in their home countries and abroad really benefit from the fact that they come from the IB board. So it really becomes a point of contention. Why the IB is sought after comes with, it comes with a lot of evidences, because, like I said, the student and the learner is encouraged to question. It promotes something known as critical thinking, which may be just a word or a few phrases in some of our other books, but for the IB, they live and they breathe these things that they say. If you can sort of just lay a little emphasis on the second point, which is very close to me because it completes the circle of learning. So when you think and you apply and you understand, you actually reflect on your learning. So much so that I think as facilitators, I have been reflecting on my work for the longest time now. Being in a classroom of budding, let's say scientists or industrialists of tomorrow gives me enough window to sort of go back to my own learning and see and want to do something new and different for the world. And I'm going to focus a lot on the IBDP, which is a diploma program, which is at grades 11 and 12, because these are school leaving years. And at this point in time, if you equip the child with the skills and vertically align them throughout your programs, the student is ready to face the world in the actual sense. So they believe in a lot of cross-disciplinary learning that begins with um, some very important core values of the diploma program, that is TOK, CAS, and EE. These are abbreviations for not so small words at all. TOK stands for Theory of Knowledge. CAS is Creativity, Activity, and Service, and EE is Extended Essay. Each of them ignite a passion in the minds of the learner to do something different. I mean, where have you questioned in your entire life and learning that you're questioning knowledge in TOK? You're actually questioning, why should I believe that the earth is round? You're questioning formula derivations in physics and mathematics. You're questioning the reasons and consequences of world wars. It's beyond our imagination how vibrant these classrooms are because of the core of the IBDP. CAS, on the other hand, is a marvelous, magnificent program that the IBDP has, because it talks about giving back to society in three different strands, which is creativity, activity, and service. It talks about how you can make a difference in the lives of the people who may not be as fortunate as you, through teaching them, through being with them, through raising funds, or doing just your bit. Because if we just do our bit, it is huge difference in the life of the people. Extended essay is an academic writing piece, which I also head at my school. I look at the extended essay submissions by each and every student. There are deadlines and there are formats and there are structures that the children follow. They critically think, they evaluate, they peer discuss. So it's a very, very holistic growth, like this slide mentions. This is my favorite, particularly favorite slide, which I always talk about when I go into classrooms or when I discuss the IB with the children. Because as learners, we must constantly strive to be the following 10 attributes. Through the IBDP program at grade 11 and 12, we've had a wonderful amalgamation of these profiles being built through different subject learnings. So although I say that, let's say I'm trying to research on something, so I'm an inquirer, but I don't stop there. I go a step ahead. I break it down. I break down those fine lines and I understand, what does it mean to be an inquirer? What does it mean to have a different viewpoint? It's very easy to say that I'm a caring individual, but how have I shown compassion, respect, and love for others, which is very, very important. So this slide is something that we live, we breathe, we um, are with the children on this, and it figures in all of our discussions back and forth, building the IB profile. It lies at the center of the IB's philosophy. Therefore, this is hugely important to each and every educator. as my talk lists, and it sort of emphasizes on why should I pitch for the IB board, if I may, or why should I advocate for this board, is because of a few things that I will talk about now. Firstly, because we live in an era of information inflow, and there's so much here and there. The skills that are required for us to be future ready or to be useful in the future, to be able to make a difference in the lives of people, we are actually, let's say, supported by the IB in this rigor. So not only is a student in India studying the same content as his counterpart anywhere across the world, we all become global citizens. It's not the physical presence, it's not the the any barrier that we're talking about. It's our presence as a whole, and an intercultural understanding, the respect for another culture, the ability to give the same amount of, let's say, the same pedestal to anybody, is a skill that we all need to develop. We really have to be more resilient and more caring and capable in our approaches to life. Another skill which is important in today's world, given the advent of AI, is independent research and academic writing. So it's the ability of a student to get into the nitty-gritties of writing, get into the understanding of independently researching and crediting things that deserve the credit. So it becomes extremely important that we um, build this skill of academic writing and independent research. And a lot of my counterparts would also, or my peers and fellow educators would believe that with the coming of the AI, are we not thinking, or are we losing the element? But let me say this, that AI is definitely here to support us. It's a big help, no wonder. But there is a huge amount of support that humans need to lend to AI, that it cannot replace the human sense and touch in the real time scenario. Problem solving, it's very important for each and every one of us to understand that if there is a problem, there has to be a solution. So the ability to become problem solvers, the ability to think about things which will help people at large, it will help an issue getting solved, is a skill that we need to develop. And this you would see when our children become, like I said, problem solvers. They are risk takers, they are balanced, they look at things and they reflect. So the ability to go back to your decision thinking how good or bad it was is a very, very important element. Time management and collaboration. I think nobody works in isolation. Not today, not 50 years ago, not 50 years hence. Time management and collaboration are absolute important pillars of success in today's world. We need to be able to collaborate with another person who may not have the same mindset as I do, but I still need to go ahead with my thought, my ideas, my practices, in the hope that we will reach a common ground. So we give each other the space and time to present what we want. We give each other that stage to be able to present our thoughts. Ethical reasoning and digital literacy is again a very, very important thing, because a lot of things now the students are equipped with handling the IT, handling with AI, looking at credentials, looking at writing their own pieces. They really have to reason out. Being empathetic reasoners becomes very important. And you can go back to the IB's philosophy to check the same, because IB believes in creating caring individuals. Another reason why it should resonate, and it resonates with most of us, is because their assessment is very, very well justified. It doesn't believe in assessment of learning. It believes in assessment for learning. The end, I already know the end goal. I want my children to become active learners. I want my children to understand what a formative or summative assessment entails for them at the end of a unit. So my end goal helps me backward plan and gives my student clarity on why are they sitting for assessments, or is it, what is the need? All my questions are graded on a criteria referencing or a rubrics. I have to measure their performance against a standard. IB does not never gets to know where one paper is from. It just gets the paper from the world across. So there is a standard that they maintain, and we all work to measure, to be able to measure up to those standards. There is something which is very amazing with the IB assessment is the concept of an internal assessment, which deals with something that the student is doing, which is completely their own. It could be an individual oral where they are speaking on a language. It could be some coursework that they are doing. It could be a kind of a focus on uh, an, ass- an experimentation, let's say in sciences, or looking at a report in psychology. So including student-driven initiatives in a main assessment for grade 12 is a huge, huge forward thought by the IB. And they focus completely on quality. You will understand why it is difficult for everybody to do the board, because you have to assess your own capabilities as far as doing something is concerned. So we are not looking at the quantity of the output. All I'm looking for is the quality of the work that is being submitted. Another very important pillar of the IB's success is international mindedness. International mindedness is the ability to think as a global learner, which I just said. Our subjects not only talk about things in my host country, they will talk about diverse learning, cultural awareness, and children are encouraged to think and act on newer, thoughts, not just something that they've known or they've seen or they've heard happen near them. It's definitely a program that takes us beyond the classroom. Most of my classes happen either in collaboration with another subject, or in the laboratory, or in the field, or in some diversity park where I'm trying to teach them about biology, and I'm trying to teach them about the ability to make a difference and distinction between species. So definitely the learning is not restricted. And CAS, like I mentioned, their creativity activity service is a flagship program which actually gives back to society. It builds their leadership, it builds a skill to connect with the community, and that really helps create empathetic learners. The extended essay and TOK is what I spoke about a little earlier. It is massively important for students to excel in both these areas. And it develops a research and a writing skill of a university level. In a lot of books and a lot of literature that I will henceforth share, you will see that IBDP is very commonly called a pre-university program, because the skills and the academic rigor of this program actually mimics what you will end up doing in university. So preparation for university, the dropout rates of children who study from IB is very, very low. Outcomes and alumni successes, because you are a part of a program that prepares you for the future. Therefore, your outcome becomes extremely, you already know your goal. And I think when students and learners and us educators, we know our goal, it's very easy for us to create short-term goals and plans and fulfill them in order for our students to do better. Yes, they perform, likely to perform well in higher education, and the alumni are all set across the world making a change, because they carry themselves with the, with carry themselves the IB learner profile and the pillars to make them succeed. A very common conversation that I have with numerous parents around why should I choose the IB almost always revolves around two, three things, is because it's a curricula that prepares the children for the future. It is not regressive. It doesn't talk about things which are already known. It does not. It does not encourage any rote learning. In fact, you can't. Sometimes even books are just another set of resources for us. Our children only don't learn through books. They learn through TED Talks. They talk to people. They learn from experience. They listen to how CEOs and entrepreneurs around the world think. Scientists around the world developing vaccines, how are they doing that? So, and I always tell the parents that it's the lifelong learning mindset that gives them an edge over everybody else. Because they are global learners and they are set at the same pedestal as any of their counterparts, They already are aware of, global challenges, local challenges, intercultural understanding. And there's a lot of balancing act which happens in terms of the academic excellence and personal growth. So you're always, planning well, managing your schedules. You're always a step ahead in terms of where you have to be with respect to your curricula. So I feel that it's not just an education system, it's a thought, it's a philosophy, it's a thinking process. And it makes you want to be a part of it, because for me, the best learner profile is the caring learner profile. All students learn, inquire, become somebody in their life. But it's so important to be caring individuals. It is so important to be individuals who have a fair amount of understanding of the agony that is going around in the world, and the ability to think for the planet. The ability to be empathetic learners is something which is very important. So, not only is IB creating knowledgeable individuals, aware citizens, it is the gold standard in international education. People look up to you for the fact that you're from the IB board, means that you would be equipped with everything that I'm telling you. And all educators like me across the world, in all their endeavors, constantly build this philosophy, constantly nurture this philosophy of wanting to do so much for the children, for the students, for future leaders in their fields. I spoke about academic honesty a while ago and credentials a while ago, and I thoroughly believe in giving credit where it is deserved. Some of the material that I've used today, the infographic that I've used today, is not created by me, but I have cited it, I have credited it, I have given it the required, let's say, importance, because this is what the IB teaches you. It teaches you um, to give credit where it is deserved. A lot of us get inspired by so many things. A lot of us do things by looking at another individual, by wanting to do something as somebody else may be doing. But it's important to give that individual, that organization, credit. And that is how you close the loop of learning. So it's not just picking information. Even if you're picking information from AI, you need to credit the AI that you've used for getting that information. And thank you. That was from my end. I hope I have been able to do some justice and give you some amount of information about a board which is very, very close to me. And I have been in my constant endeavor for the last 6 years, learning and relearning and constantly learning to be able to make a difference in the lives of all my learners.
Thank you, Miss Tina. If you can stop sharing the screen, we can have a better view of you, ma'am. Thank you. So I have a couple of questions here. This first question is from a parent.
Mhm.
Do IB students have an advantage when applying to top universities globally?
Yes, yes. The answer is yes. Because top universities across the world don't only just look at your academic score, they look at your overall portfolio. Your overall portfolio needs to be built with a curricular, co-curricular activities. The IB does that when you're already in grade 11 and 12. So they purposely send you for community programs. They purposely send you out for, uh, you know, events where you're required to make a difference. And that shows in your portfolio, which is looked at really and placed in very high regard by top universities across the world.
Mhm. So, ma'am, what challenges do IB students face and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, so like I said, it is possibly the rigorous board of education that you would come across, because it really has a lot of work. It's a pre-university program. So the children struggle to manage their time. How would a child struggle in university? They're just out of school, thrown into the university setting, and they are expected to manage lectures and assignments and submissions and peer learning all at the same time. That is what the student experiences in IB as well. There are submissions which are, staggered. There are submissions that go to the IB. Corrections happen at the IB. There is a moderation process. So children, answering your question, students actually feel a paucity of time. And I think if they manage their time and their schedule and the way they need to do things, that is the only way to succeed in the IB. You need to create a schedule for yourself. And I always believe in creating short-term plans. Fulfillment of short-term plans increases the good hormones in your body, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment, which is very important for a student.
Right. So, what role does a student counselor play in this pattern, ma'am, where the student is in, in some discomfort or like some because of the stress and mental agony or whatever it is. So, how does the student counselors help the students to come out of the fear or the stress?
I feel the student counselors have a massive role to play when it comes to fulfillment of the IB journey, because they become very close to each student as their learning progresses. Because, like I said, deadlines and timelines, although staggered, some of them do come in at similar times. I'll give you a very small example. In grade 12, children apply for universities. So normally their assessments in the IB and the university essays are all parallel, dates are all parallel. So a student may have to submit 15 university essays at the same time and write maybe 3 papers the next day. So the school counselor here has a very, very important role of calming the student down, of ensuring that the student has enough timeline, enough space in his calendar, enough let's say cushion in his calendar, that they can sort of adjust the timeline here and there. So the school counselors work very closely with the student. They are in fact let's say a very a friend to the student, because they may also help the student sometimes manage their time, create timetables, create schedules, so the student really gets a lot of help. And they also constantly uphold their morale, which becomes another important aspect for students.
Right. Coming to the home front, ma'am, parents, of course, parents have the equal responsibility other than the school. It's not the students or teachers' responsibility,
Yeah.
right? So, how should be the environment at home? What kind of support a child needs from the parents? Look, more the parents, the IB is a new curriculum. We
Hmm.
all studied the, the
Yes,
CBSE is rooted in our in our country. So
yes,
IB, so not all the parents went and learned IB curriculum. So
absolutely.
what should a child expect, or what should be the parent's role in preparing the child to up when he's applying or she is applying for universities abroad?
Yes. So firstly, the IB board has a philosophy that each one of us has to learn. So the parents have to first understand, to be able to give good advice to your child, to be able to, sort of give the freedom to your child, or the opportunity to your child to learn this program. They must be first informed. So I think parents also become lifelong learners. They also kind of learn new things when they associate with the IB. But yes, that is absolutely true. It's a newer concept for our parents. And sometimes parents are jittery because they wouldn't know what to do. So many queries I get of parents is that we've done the CBSE and the ICSE. We have never even done the IB board. How will I support my child? You will support your child as you always have. The child is going to learn the techniques and learnings the student will always have on their own. You need to be a front to support them. You need to be there mentally to be able, you need to give them mental support to be able to, for the child to feel comfortable, for the child to feel safe, for the child to feel, okay, if I make a mistake, I'm fine. So they have to understand that the IB requirements are such, have to have a daily interaction with the student, need to be very closely associated with the school where these things are happening. The school also gives them an exhaustive calendar, marks important deadlines. So parents also, I feel, have a lot of responsibility, and they really take it upon themselves to help the child also. So of course, being very well informed about the board, not giving wrong information in terms of, this is okay, this can be done, this cannot be done, and also being aware of what opportunities your child may want to do. So aligning all of these thoughts together will help the student in the higher education opportunities as well.
So, ma'am, does IB encourage extra help outside of the school?
Not really, because firstly, extra help, if at all needed, must be from IB trained individuals. I mean, I have been trained in my 6 years of learning for, nearly not just at once IB trained teacher, you're never an IB trained teacher. IB constantly encourages professional development. There's a constant need to upskill, even from the educator's end. Extra help from outside would not be the right structure that the IB wants. So the student is encouraged to seek as much as help and as sorry, I apologize. I think there was some.
No issues, ma'am. It happens. Yeah, please continue. Yes.
Like I said, the parents have, and seeking external help is never really a good idea as far as the IB is concerned, because sometimes the external help not only may be less informed, but may also give you the wrong information, the wrong structure in lieu of just finishing a couple of assignments. So, if at all any help is needed, it should be totally from the school, from your educator, from your teacher who is an IB trained teacher. So that is a huge plus. And I think a misinformation that goes out to the parents that if the children do the IB, then they have to do, take a lot of help, support from outside. That's not true. They need to only reach out to their teachers that they already have.
Right. In continuation of the same question, ma'am, um, each child is unique. Are there any concerns about the IB curriculum suitability for all students?
Yes. So the IB also has diverse curricula and diverse choices for children with diverse needs. So all of us have, we are all abled in a different way. We may have a certain learning style and a learning process, which may not be similar for everybody. So the IB also has, let's say, the career related program, which is not so academically benchmarked as much as it is, entrepreneurial in nature. So here in grade 11 and 12, the student can get an opportunity to intern under a huge industry, can make a project, a study kind of a thing, do a little mini PhD kind of, an understanding. So IB also tailor makes their programs to suit every learner's needs. We have access arrangements for people who may have trouble writing, who may have trouble reading. That is the kind of suitability that the IB program goes out and provides.
Last but not the least, ma'am, how can schools implement the IB curriculum and what are the requirements?
So every school needs to send out a letter of intent to the IB. It may include your school portfolio. It has to have a proper structure with the principal and the teachers and let's say a commitment to all-round development and students of different ages. Then the IB looks at the application and seeks a lot of information and provides them authorization. So authorization means that you are getting a chance to transact the curriculum. And then the IB decides whether you match up to their standards, whether your processes and policies are right or wrong, whether you need to work on certain areas. And then they keep helping you, and they sort of let you transact the curriculum for 5 years. Every 5 years, no matter how old your school has been running the IB, you get reevaluated. So every 5 years, a school is evaluated whether they are following the IB guidelines or not by virtue of sending papers. They come to school, they speak to the teachers, they speak to the parents, children. So they do, like I said, a lot of reflection. So they authorize the school and then evaluate the school every 5 years. So just because a school has been authorized to give to deliver the IB program, it does not mean that every 5 years they will get that for free. They will have to work for it. They need to prove that they are doing exactly what the IB wants, exactly the way it wants. And this is
Yes.
just so that there is an international benchmarking that they believe in. The moderation stays as is.
Mhm. That's all from my end, ma'am. Before closing the session, anything else you want to mention, Miss Tina?
And no, I would thank you for the opportunity that you've given to me. It was really an amazing, amazing session. I spoke about something, like I said, from my heart. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity to me.
Thank you, ma'am. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. I know some of the questions were repetitive. Still, you patiently answered everything. It was a very informative session. And have a great weekend. I'll end the meeting now.
Thank you.